Hey guys, Level Cap here and welcome to another episode of This Week in Gaming. In the wake of the Wall Street Journal's article about PewDiePie from March, advertisers fled YouTube, fearing their ads were running alongside inappropriate content. To get advertisers back, YouTube has now launched brand safety controls that let advertisers choose what content their ads play on. The problem with the system is that the choices are vague and apparently apply to Call of Duty World War II. Many YouTubers, including myself, have seen a huge drop in revenue when talking about the upcoming COD title. Some YouTubers have even seen the same drop by just putting World War II in the titles of their videos. In the past, YouTubers have seen drops like this when companies such as Nintendo stopped allowing monetization of their games, but Activision has not done this with their games or the upcoming COD title. One of the YouTube ad filters is subjects related to war, and that seems to be flagging Call of Duty World War II videos as unsafe for advertisers. YouTuber Prestige is Key tested the new revenue system by making a video about his milk expiring and comparing it with the statistics to a video titled New Dash Mechanic in World War II. The milk video got 60,000 less views and made 4 times as much money as the World War II titled video. Now YouTube have said that they're aware of issues like this. They published a post to the creator dashboard saying YouTubers should expect their ad revenue to fluctuate over the next few weeks as they iron out the new advertising system. Hopefully they manage to sort these things out soon, because as a content creator it's no fun having no control whatsoever over your own platform or how well it monetizes. If you've been following my channel this week, you'll know a lot is going on with Battlefield 1. The next patch is going to nerf the bayonet charge, rebalance vehicles, fix netcode, and a bunch of other things. The patch is really going to be the first one that addresses the core balance of Battlefield 1 in a meaningful way now that grenade spam has been dealt with, to a certain extent. I'm really excited for the future patches because I think we are at the turning point for Battlefield 1, or at least I hope we're at the turning point. DAYZ has also released a brand new night map, Prize Day Tahir, that is available on CTE for premium players. Set at dusk in an urban area like, say, Amiens, it's the second night map DAYZ are releasing for Battlefield 1. The first one, Nivelle Nights, will be made available in June for premium players. There's been some confusion as to whether or not all players will get these two maps for free like Giant Shadow. The language DAYZ has used to promote them is pretty light in details, and Prize Day Tahir's announcement is even more vague than Nivelle Nights. Hopefully they'll be released for all players at some point, but I have a feeling they're going to be premium only, at least for some period of time. Finally, we're getting our first look at the next DLC for Battlefield 1 in the name of the Czar at EA Play this coming June. Czar will include snow maps set on the Eastern Front as well as the usual batch of new weapons and vehicles. I did a video going into more detail about everything, so if you want the full story, be sure to hit the links in the description. Overwatch has become the 8th franchise in Blizzard's lineup of games to break $1 billion in revenue. Blizzard's Q1 2017 revenue alone accounted for $441 million. The latest event for Overwatch, Uprising, is now the game's most played event. With 30 million global players, Overwatch is Blizzard's fastest growing game ever. At 1.5 gigabytes, Prey has a day one patch that is no joke. The update addresses a number of issues, many of which were discovered during the game's pre-release 1-hour free trial period on the PS4 and Xbox One. Bugs like enemies shooting through walls, certain weapons not doing damage, and the player getting knocked out of the game world have been fixed. Other issues like FPS bugs and crashes have also been addressed. On PC, Prey actually runs quite well. The developer's previous game, Dishonored 2, had several big performance issues, especially on the PC. Thankfully, Prey doesn't seem to have any major problems with performance. That said, motion blur and field of view can only be adjusted by tweaking the game's config files for right now. An FOV slider was planned to be in the game's option menu, but the devs found some bugs and were adjusting it prior to release. An update in the near future will add an FOV slider to the game. If you guys want to watch some Prey gameplay, I put out a video yesterday covering a significant portion of the single player. Gears of War 4 has finally been updated to support using multiple GPUs on the PC. This feature was heavily requested before the game even launched last October. The update also adds 2 new multiplayer maps, Dawn and a classic Gears 2 map, Security. The devs gave Security a pretty substantial visual overhaul to get it up to the graphical and gameplay standards of Gears of War 4. Black Ops 3 is getting its 5th DLC pack. Zombie Chronicles includes remasters of 8 zombie maps from the previous COD titles. The DLC pack is set to release on May 16th, with full details to be announced during a live stream of the day of the release. Rumors are that the new zombie map remasters have been in production for quite some time. Pricing has not yet been announced. Amazon have hired Craig Sullivan as creative director for their Game Studios division. Sullivan was the creative director behind the Need for Speed series. He has also worked on the Burnout franchise and the FPS Black. Amazon has recently announced 3 games in active development: Breakaway, a 4v4 mythological sport brawler; New World, an open-world MMO; and Crucible, a battle royale style game set on a hostile alien world. All 3 games will have Twitch integrations that affect the game world. Crucible could end up being the first AAA level game made in the battle royale genre. I'm excited to see what a fully polished battle royale game will be like. Pretty much all the games currently in the genre are being made by indie devs. Despite their massive popularity, they still don't have the financial backing of a massive studio or publisher like EA or Ubisoft. A well-funded battle royale game could be pretty epic, and I can't wait to try one out. German gamers can finally play the original uncensored version of Half-Life. Since the game's release, the only legitimate way for German gamers to play it has been the absurd censored version that replaces all humans with robots, blood with oil, and the body parts with mechanical ones. Owners of Half-Life on Steam can now download Half-Life Uncensored, which will replace the censored version on installation. Chet Falizek has left Valve after working there for 12 years. Valve recently confirmed they're working on 3 new full games, so the departure of many senior Valve employees doesn't seem to have slowed the company down at all. But it does bring into question how Half-Life 3 and other classic Valve games like Left 4 Dead and Portal will continue now that all the original lead writers are gone. E3 has announced a new panel-style event called E3 Coliseum. This will be the first time E3 has featured developer panels for all attendees. In recent years, many AAA studios have avoided appearing at E3, instead opting to put on their own events during the convention like EA Play. E3's Coliseum seems like an attempt to modernize the convention and give developers a better format to communicate with fans and press. Aside from the main stage reveal events and showroom booths, developers and publishers have never had a good place to talk about their games without it basically being an ad for whatever they have in development. Other gaming conventions like PAX and Game Developers Conference have made a name for themselves by being a place for devs and fans to directly interact with each other. Maybe E3 Coliseum will help the convention become more than just an advertising event in the eyes of the gamers. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds Charity Invitational raised a total of $123,000. 64 players from around the world competed as part of an event in an official livestream for PUBG's Twitch channel. The event's goal was $100,000. Bluehole matched donations up to $100K, so in total the event has raised over $200,000 for charity. The charity is Gamers Outreach, who provide equipment, technology, and software for kids staying in hospitals. Personally, I'm just really impressed that an indie developer this early in development is taking so much of their profit and already donating some of that to charity. It really bodes well for the ethics of the company in general, and I hope it means that the company will continue to host events like this throughout the game's lifespan. The FPS survival game The Long Dark will be leaving Steam's early access program on August 1st. The game was funded via Kickstarter and originally launched in 2013. Since then, it's received content updates that substantially impacted the game's visuals and gameplay. On August 1st, they'll release the first 2 episodes of the game's single-player story mode, Winter Mute. Players have had access to a sandbox survival game mode since The Long Dark debuted on Steam. Set in a post-apocalyptic version of the snowy Canadian countryside, the proper backstory for the game's desolate world has been somewhat of a mystery. Because of this, the story mode has been heavily anticipated by fans. DAYZ will finally enter its beta phase with its 0.63 update. The 0.62 update is currently in development and expected to deploy sometime very soon. 0.63 is still a few months away from release, but it's still a big deal considering the game has been in early access for 41 months. The beta update is planned to include a complete overhaul to the game's vehicle system. In its current state, DAYZ's vehicle system is rudimentary at best and has been a big area of concern for developers. The PlayStation VR is getting its first price reduction. Well, kind of. Amazon and GameStop will be offering a $400 bundle that includes the required PlayStation 4 camera, which is $50 on its own and wasn't included with the original PSVR at launch. Sony currently sells the PSVR headset for $400 without the camera, so it's unclear if Amazon and GameStop are selling an official bundle or just being smart about how customers get their hands on the system. I can only imagine the flood of customers that hit Amazon's support department not realizing the separate camera accessory is required for the PSVR to work. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's episode of This Week in Gaming. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed it, I hope you learned something, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.